So guys, in this video, we're going to break down the psychology of ignoring a woman and what it does, how it can work in your favor, and how it can work against you, because it's either going to do one or two things. It is either going to work in your favor or work against you. And if you know what you're doing and you're smooth with it, it can work in your favor. If you don't know what you're doing, you think you're so cool, you're so smart doing it, it can work against you. So I'm going to break down kind of both ways and what can happen. And this is a very well-known thing in modern society today, both ways. You're most likely going to have to play some sort of game with somebody. Like, honestly, man, like, it's supposed to be that way. Especially in the world we're living in today, it's supposed to be that way. A lot of people think, oh, I ain't playing this damn game and da-da-da-da-da-da. Well, you could be missing out. You could be. There's that limit where it's like, you kind of have to play a little bit. Or if it's just too much, you leave it alone. Because there's some games, it's just too much. Like, someone's too power hungry, someone wants too much power, too much leverage, and that's not something any man or woman should give up. You have to know when to play the game and when to not play the game. Like, it's something you have to know. Some people, it's worth it. Some people, it's worth talking to when things ain't going smooth all the time. Although things will go smooth with a person you might like. Things will be smooth. But there's going to come that time. She might just wake up and think. She might just get out of bed and think, you know what? I'm going to fuck with this guy today. Today is the day. And there you go. Vice versa. And I don't think a guy's going to wake up and then, but bro, they do. They do. It's different with a guy ignoring a woman. They do it a little bit differently. To aloof some mystery. What is this guy doing? Oh my God, oh my God. Is he talking to somebody else? It creates that competition anxiety. And that is your friend towards these women. That makes them want you and like you even more. It can do the same the other way around as well. It can also turn some people off. Things can work against you as well. If you ignore her, she might get super, super emotional and offended. She might block you. She might just drop you off completely and go her way and forget about you completely. Things can go that way. Vice versa. You have to know when things are worth fighting for and when things are not worth fighting for. That's pretty much what you have to know. Because some people's worth it, bro. Some people's worth it. It's like, you know there's good chemistry there. You know there's some good chemistry there. Things are going well. You see the good sides of the person, but they might throw a wrench in there to get to know you more. Because guess what? They're going to get to know you more when you react to what they're doing. Vice versa. Women do this to pick out needy, desperate men who need their companionship. Vice versa. Guys can do this to weed out low tier, low value women. And it's not always a game. Just because you didn't talk to somebody back, it doesn't mean it's a game all the time. Sometimes it can be, sometimes it's not. Sometimes you'll never know. Sometimes you will never know. So, that's what it is. You having mystery towards these women, let me tell you, is your friend. It turns them on more. They're worried. Especially if you're a high value dude. You check off a lot of boxes. You're a high value man in the eyes of women. That's the only thing that matters. You can call yourself high value all you want. It doesn't make it true. The only thing that matters is if you're high value in the eyes of a woman, and you're going to think a certain way about yourself, and that's cool. That's cool. But are you high value in the eyes of women because that's what's going to create anything to do with you and some female? If you check off a lot of boxes, you're probably high value in the eyes of a lot of women. Like, most likely. You being mysterious is going to work in your favor. Somebody asking you questions off the riff. You talking to more girls? I want to say other things too, but they're going to ask you questions, bro. You adding more people? You talking to anybody else? And all this kind of stuff. Like, are you adding more girls? Are you talking to more girls? And all this stuff. That turns her on more. Why? Because you're a high value dude. If you check off a lot of boxes, they know you can get other girls, bro. They know this. They're going to play games with you as well. They're going to play games with you as well. As well. There's going to be times where they ignore you to play the game, to artificially inflate their own value. So you think, oh my God, they want you to overthink about them as well. That's what I'm saying, bro. They're going to wake up one day, I'm going to fuck with this guy today. Today is the day. I'm going to fuck with this guy today. And you're going to get all these tests, and all of a sudden the drop off. Because she's trying to artificially inflate her own value. That's what she's trying to do. Some people absolutely suck at these types of things. Like, absolutely suck. I was not always the best my whole life. And I want to start saying something about that, but I have a whole other video for that. Of things I've learned, lessons I've learned, etc., etc. So keep on the look for that video because it's going to be good. You need experience. You need to understand why things are happening. And you can tell yourself all you want, I don't want to play no game and all this. Well, keep doing what you do. I'll tell you something right now. You're going to want to play the game with someone that you know there's chemistry with. You're going to want to play the game where you have chemistry with some girl. Because let me tell you, it's not just going to go smooth and she's going to be your wife. Let me say that one more time. It's not just going to go smooth and she's going to be your wife. It's not going to go that way. It's not. There's going to be games. Things are going to happen. Sometimes all hell breaks loose. Sometimes things end up don't working out with someone that probably could have worked out with. Welcome to the game. Welcome to the real world. Because this shit happens. You just have to know what you're doing. You can absolutely reattract a person as well. You can. You can learn from your mistakes. You can get better. You can grow. Better things can happen. Even if you make some bad choices, decisions, mistakes, etc. You can. You can reattract a person. You can say something wrong and just, they didn't really like what you said. They might ignore you. You can reattract that person. You can become a new person. You can have a different mindset. You can do things differently. And let me tell you something. These modern women today, especially the younger, prettier ones, they got all kinds of tricks up their sleeve, Mr. Man, let me tell you. They got all kinds of tricks. All kinds of tricks. So you have to understand these things. You have to be able to do what you do as well, and that's the way it's going to be. And like I said, you ignoring her plays in your favor. Let's say she says something to you and you just don't respond. Time goes on, maybe half a day, maybe a full day, maybe a couple days, maybe even a week. And then you respond. Let me tell you something right now. That whole time, she was wondering, oh my God, she's in competition anxiety. She feels all that kind of stuff. And the second you hit her back, she's going to respond real quick. Why? She was waiting on you. She wants to see, oh my God, he's here. What did he say? And now she's aroused. But if you didn't do that, she wouldn't be. Because you're just still there. You're just there. There's nothing that mysterious about you. But now there's the mystery. What was he doing? Why didn't he not message me back? There's like a million questions going through her head. And some of you might be sitting back watching this video thinking, this is too much for me. I don't want to play these games and all that kind of stuff. This ain't for everybody, bro. This ain't for everybody. And even for the ones this ain't for, you can absolutely grow as a person, and all of a sudden it can be for you, because this shit wasn't always for me. I'm still not the biggest fan of it. I don't like games, but games are just going to be involved. It's just going to be. Love it, hate it, in the middle with it, it don't matter. There's gonna be a game involved. Look at the world we're in. Look at the world we're in. You think they're just going to rely on one man and all this kind of stuff, bro? No. There's about a million different platforms. They're meeting people all over the place. They're meeting people where they come from in school and at jobs, online. Like, bro, there's shit everywhere. There's people coming out of left, right, and center, and you think some young pretty girl, you don't think there's a million guys that wants her. You're out of your mind. Games are going to be played. You can also invest and talk to some woman. Chemistry's there. You like her. And you can lose her. Your time can be wasted. And the thing I think about this is, if you think the person is worth trying for, go for it. Whether it's a hit or a miss, you got your answer. Don't leave a good opportunity on the table. You're going to have to take a risk. Your time can get wasted. You can get manipulated. Bad things can happen. Bad things can absolutely happen. And I think for a lot of guys, especially guys that are younger, yous are the ones, even whenever I was younger than I am right now, like I'm 28 right now, I'm starting to really come into my shit. I have a massive advantage over majority of men on earth for many different reasons. And let me tell you, these younger guys that ain't at my age, that don't have my experience, that don't have my success, I'm going to mop the floor with these guys. Let's just say that. So if you're a younger guy, there is no problem in just taking your time. Don't even focus on any girls whatsoever. Focus on what you're doing. Become. Focus on becoming. You're going to live that way for so long. You're going to become more attractive to women over time. You're used to the life you're living without them. That is attractive to them. Believe it or not. All of a sudden, one starts to have interest in you. 2, 3, 5, 15, 100. Because of who you've become over time. You can go from having a lot of women to having none to then having a lot again. Like, there's phases in life. When I was in even junior high, high school, even elementary, I had all the prettiest women in school. All the time. As soon as school's over, I start to go down different paths. I don't have success in those paths right now. People don't really know what you're doing, what's up, and all this stuff. I had that time where I just wasn't dealing with women. I could get some and little hookups here and there, sure. But it's like, you didn't have access to what you had access to. For one, I wasn't in school. I wasn't seeing everybody. I didn't have the opportunities. So that's just kind of what happens. You go through the phase where you just don't deal with that many. That's where you put your head down, you work, you go through your times, you become much better over time, and all of a sudden, they're back. A whole horde of them, they're back. You're on top of your shit. You can handle the games, you can handle all that kind of stuff because of what you built your life into. There's gonna be times, bro, where you have no business even looking at a girl, talking to a girl, nothing. You have work to do. Bro, why can't more men understand this? The same thing with women too. It's not just men. The same thing with women too. Why can't more people understand this? If you're not on top of your game, why do you deserve something very good in the opposite gender? What makes you that good? Like, what is it that makes you that good? There's probably a lot of boxes you don't check off. Like, probably. That's where the work comes in. That's where you put your head down. That's where you get self-motivated and disciplined. Especially disciplined because motivation ain't always going to be there. You got to put your head down and you got to become. You got to go through the suck. It's not going to be this pleasant journey where you feel good all the time and motivated. There's going to be shitty days and nights. And you have to go through that. And if you're not willing to, then it's probably not going to be good. But if you're willing to go through that, you would be surprised what you can attract to your life. You would be very surprised. I was never surprised because I always knew who I was and I knew what I was doing. I knew where I was going and I knew what was going to happen. I just knew. I know what I'm capable of. I know what my genes are like. I know what my genetics are like. I know what my mind is like, and I know others. And I just know I ain't going to lose. I just know where I'm going to get to. I just know. And you put your head down and you work. And you do what you do. This is going to make you far more attractive over time. By the time you get to your mid-20s, late 20s, 30s, early 30s, even up to mid-30s, you are going to wipe the younger guys off the floor. And there's going to be the odd, rare young guy who gets it quick. Pro athlete at 19, 20, 21. Yes, their value is high. But how many is that compared to yourself? Not many. And there's tons of very attractive women. There's tons of them, there's not tons of you. That's why, when you do the right things in life, life goes your way. But if you don't do the right things in life, it's not going to go your way. And I'm just being honest. It's probably not. That's for you to wake up to, you to understand. You be smart about it. Not emotional about it. Oh, well, no. That's your problem. Guy or girl, that's your problem. You got work to do. It's a cold world. It's more competitive than ever in the dating market. It's more competitive than ever. You're competing whether you like it or not. You're not the only one. Someone's not going to see you. Some girl's not going to see you. Or some guy's not going to see you, and it's just going to be that. Especially if they're a good catch. They're not just going to focus just on you and throw everything else aside. Other things are in play. whatever arouses her or him the most is gonna get that option. That's how it goes. That's how it goes today. It used to be different. You can hate it. I can hate it. Anybody can hate it. It is what it is. We used to meet people only in real life, only in person. And if you're a good catch for someone, you really don't want to let it slip, and you invest into that person pretty much right away off the rip. It's not that way no more. This is the way it is. And if you just work on yourself, focus on yourself, and create great value within yourself, you're eventually going to strike. Because there's not enough of that to go around. There's a lot of lazy people in the world that don't want to do these things. And it's like getting on my grind, doing the things I do. It's never like, oh my God, I was lazy at one point. I got to wake up and I got to do better, bro. It was always in me to be this way. Since birth. I was always that guy. I was always that dude. I really haven't changed. Like, what's within me? Obviously, you get far better at a lot of things. You grow, you get experience, you learn. Things can change you in ways, but it's like your internal hardwiring is pretty much always going to be the same. You have gifts within you. And that's up to you to realize, to understand, and to use those gifts to your advantage, to your leverage. Everybody. That's what it's got to be. So if you can understand these things, you can ultimately win. If you don't understand these things, I don't know. It might be a time for you. I don't know. You can also get lucky at times in life where not many games happen and you found the one. It can happen. It can. But in today's world, the odds of that are slim to none. Slim to none. And before I end this video, just the last thing about the whole topic, what I'm talking about here, ignoring a woman. It's either going to do one or two things. Work in your advantage. It's going to create even more attraction and arousal and, oh my God, this guy is so high value, he's so good. Or it's going to do the opposite. And honestly, when women can sense, he really don't like me like that, they're just going to go. Most of them. And if they keep trying, it's only going to make them far less attractive. You should never chase after somebody. You should never, you're just so keen on getting them. How can I do this? Like, just let that person go completely. You should never be in that position. You should never chase anybody, bro. Nobody. No guy or girl. No girl should chase you. You should not chase no girl. And that's different than pursuing. You can pursue all night and day all you want. To different people or whatever you might do. You can't chase. If you get the hint, somebody don't want to talk, you can't double text, you can't do any of that stuff. Like, if you lay something out there and someone never answers to that, they never hits you up even later or nothing, just let that go. Don't come back and try to say something else. Let it go. And if you do, it's only going to be better for you. It's never going to be good if you keep trying. If you keep trying. If you keep hitting that person up. If you keep hitting that person up, you're doing yourself a disservice. It comes off as needy. It comes off as desperate. It comes off in that way. It comes off this. You are probably a human being that is very rare, and they can't find another like you. You're the absolute best they could possibly do. They're going to be on your shit. Like, steady. And that only creates unattractive traits in the person that is doing those things. So you can't chase. Whether it's a guy, whether it's a girl, like I'm saying, you can't chase. You can't send that double text. When you lay something out there and they don't respond, you don't do it again. It only makes it worse for yourself. And that's the way it is. Even if you hit up some girl, or even if you're talking to some girl and it's going so well and all of a sudden she just don't respond to that last thing you said, you don't You don't even let a couple days go by, a week, 2 weeks, and then say something again. You can leave that as it is and carry on. Because let me tell you, if you say something else, oh my God, he really wants me. He can't do better. He don't have other options. If you let that go, guess who's coming back? That chick's coming back. And maybe same thing with the guy and the girl. Like if a girl says something to you and you just don't really want to respond or something, and she don't send something else, you actually might respond. But if she just keeps going, days go by, you don't respond. A week goes by, you don't respond, and she says something else, you might never respond. This is the way it is. So understand psychology and these things. It's only going to benefit you to understand these things and not take things personal, not get emotional about how things are. Just understand and do your work.